Hey there, friend. Welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. Today's story is for everyone: kids, grown-ups, teens, anyone who just wants a little peace, a little warmth, and a cozy tale to tuck into. So take a deep breath, maybe grab a soft blanket or a warm drink, and let's step together into a story that's all about slowing down, finding calm, and remembering the quiet magic of everyday life. This is the story of a girl named Ella. Ella wasn't in any kind of trouble, really, but she had been feeling a little lost. You know that feeling? Like the world's been spinning too fast, and you're just trying to catch your breath? That was Ella lately. She was 13, with long chestnut brown hair that always curled a little at the ends, and soft eyes the color of a rainy morning. Her days had gotten busy: homework, phone buzzing every few minutes, friends talking over each other, and always something to do, something to scroll, something to keep up with. One Friday afternoon, after school, Ella's mum, gentle-eyed and soft-spoken, said, "I think you need some grounding time." Ella blinked. "Like, I'm grounded?" "Not like that," her mom smiled. "Just grounded. Quiet. No phone, no screens, no rushing. Just some time with your feet on the earth. I thought maybe you could go stay with Grandpa for a few days." Ella raised an eyebrow. Grandpa's cottage was nestled at the edge of a sleepy little mountain town called Fernhill, all cobblestone paths and daisy-dotted meadows. No Wi-Fi. Barely any cell service. Lots of birdsong, warm bread, and wooden floors that creaked kindly when you walked. Ella hesitated, but something inside her, tired and tangled, quietly nodded. So the next morning, with her backpack, a sketchbook, and a couple of books, Ella boarded the small local train that puffed gently up into the hills. The journey was slow, winding through green valleys and sleepy stations. Out the window, sheep grazed lazily, and little cottages leaned toward wildflower fields. When she arrived, Grandpa was already waiting by the gate, tall and cheerful, with silver hair under a soft wool hat and a cozy brown sweater that smelled like cinnamon and sunshine. "There's my Ella," he said, hugging her close. "The birds have been waiting to meet you." The cottage was just as she remembered, all tucked beneath tall trees, with ivy climbing the stone walls and white curtains fluttering in the windows. The garden was full of lavender and mint, and bees hummed like a lullaby. Inside, the air was warm and smelled like apples baking in the oven. That night, wrapped in a patchwork quilt, Ella lay in bed listening to the crickets outside and the wind rustling the leaves. It was the first time in a long while she hadn't felt the pull to check something, scroll somewhere, or be anywhere else. And just like that, the quiet began to settle in her bones. The next morning, Ella woke up to sunlight streaming through the white curtains and the soft sound of birds calling from the trees. She stretched, yawned, and smiled to herself. No alarm. No rush. Downstairs, Grandpa was humming as he stirred oatmeal in a pot on the stove. The kitchen was warm with the smell of cinnamon and brown sugar. "Morning, Starshine," he said with a twinkle in his eye. "Hope you're hungry." They ate breakfast at the little wooden table by the window. Outside, a squirrel was trying very hard to carry an apple twice its size across the grass. Ella giggled. "He's determined. Like someone else I know," Grandpa said with a wink. After breakfast, Grandpa handed her a small tin watering can. "Come help me in the garden." The garden was blooming, not perfectly trimmed, but wild and joyful, like it had its own happy rhythm. Bees drifted from flower to flower. Butterflies twirled lazily in the sun. Ella followed Grandpa as he pointed out herbs, showed her where the strawberries hid under the leaves, and told her the names of every bird that stopped by. "There's something special about putting your hands in the dirt," he said, kneeling beside a bed of carrots. "It reminds you where you come from. Slows the world down." Ella liked the way the soil felt, cool and crumbly and full of tiny roots. Her fingers got messy, but she didn't mind. Every little thing seemed to breathe easier here. The leaves, the clouds, even her own thoughts. In the afternoon, they took a walk down the wooded path behind the cottage. The trees made a soft tunnel overhead, and every now and then, a sunbeam would break through like a gentle spotlight. They saw a fox in the distance, its ears perked, its tail swishing like a paintbrush. Ella didn't take a picture, She just watched, and the memory stayed. Later, back at the cottage, she sat on the porch swing with her sketchbook and drew the trees, the fox, the shape of the sky between the branches. Grandpa brought her a mug of warm milk with honey. "You look lighter already," he said. Ella looked up at the golden evening light, and then back down at her own hands, smudged with pencil and soil. "I think I forgot what it feels like to just be." Grandpa nodded, his eyes kind. "That's what grounding does. Reminds you that you don't have to be anything more than you already are." That night, with the fire crackling gently and her heart a little softer, Ella felt like she belonged to something quiet and good. Ella's final morning in Fernhill arrived with a sky streaked pink and gold, like the whole world had decided to wake up slowly. She helped Grandpa pick apples from the tree out back, the ones with red cheeks and sweet, crisp bites. They filled a wicker basket, and Grandpa said, "A few to take home, a few for pie." The pie filled the cottage with the smell of cinnamon and sugar and soft, buttery crust. While it baked, Ella wandered to the garden gate. The wind was warm, brushing through her hair like an old friend. She closed her eyes and just listened. Birds, trees, bees, her own breath. She hadn't thought once about Wi-Fi. After lunch, Ella packed her things, her sketchbook a little fuller, her clothes dusted with garden soil and porch swing memories. Grandpa walked her to the train station, the same slow way they'd gone for groceries the day before, waving to neighbors, stopping to admire a patch of wild violets, greeting a sleepy orange cat perched on a fence post. At the station, Grandpa handed her a small envelope. "Open it on the train." The train chugged softly out of Fernhill, and Ella leaned against the window, watching the trees wave goodbye. She opened the envelope. Inside was a pressed daisy and a note in Grandpa's careful, looping script. "Whenever life gets too loud, remember the earth is still under your feet. Just stop. Breathe. You'll find your way." Ella smiled. She placed the note gently in the back of her sketchbook, right beside a drawing of the fox. When she got home, her mom hugged her tight. "You seem brighter," she said. Ella nodded. "I think I just needed to be still for a while." That night, instead of reaching for her phone, Ella opened the window. The city was quieter than she remembered. She sat by the windowsill, sipping chamomile tea, sketching stars, and thinking of apple pie and dirt under her nails. She knew the world would spin fast again, but now, she also knew how to slow it down. And sometimes, getting grounded is the most beautiful kind of freedom. Thank you for joining me on this peaceful little journey. If this story brought you comfort or calm, feel free to like, subscribe, and come back anytime you need a warm, cozy place to rest. There are always more stories waiting for you here. Take care, friend. Ha.